Our next application we are going to be building is called Book Tracker. Essentially, the Book Tracker app will track books that you read. So you'll be able to enter the book name and also select a picture for that book and then save that information. So then you can see a list all the books that you've been reading. It's a fairly complex application, but we will take one step at a time. So we will create this application in stages, and we will also stop at some point and then learn a new concept and then get back to the application. So it's going to be really fun, and I'll be showing you a lot of new things about iOS 9. I went ahead and created a project. It's called Book Tracker. So I would like you to go ahead and create your own project and name it Book Tracker. That way we are in sync. So here we are. We have our project. As usual, let's go to our storyboard. We are going to start putting together the user interface for our screen. Let's get a label. Say label. There it is. Gonna get and put in our storyboard right about there. That's great. Double click and say default book. Right about there. And then let's get a text field here. So say text, there's text field. That's good. Let's make it as wider as possible until we hit the right guiding lines there. And while we still have that selected, look at the attributes inspector. Put something in our placeholder. So say enter book name. So you can see there it is, enter book name placeholder. And while we're here, at the bottom here, click on the auto enable return key. On the return key default, let's go and say done. So we want to show a done button at the bottom. I think that's about it. And one more thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and get another label. Say label, get a button, and drag and drop it right about there. That's good. So double click. And what we're going to say set default book. So this one here, it's going to be a button. When clicked, it's going to show our default book at the top. Good. So let's go ahead and run it and see how things are looking. All right, so it's running on iPhone 6. You notice that something is not quite right here. Our text field cuts off right about there. While we are working on our application, the other thing we can do to see how things would look on different iOS devices, what you do is we go to our assistant editor, click on that, and right at the top here you see set automatic view controls. So click on automatic and go to preview and click on main storyboard preview. Here it says iPhone 4-inch, so it tells exactly how this application would look on iPhone 4-inch. And right away you see at the bottom here there's this plus sign there. So if you click on that, it'll allow us to choose different simulators. So in this case, let's see how this would look on 3.5-inch, and look what's happening. It added the iPhone 3.5, so smaller one, and we can add another one here. Let's go to an iPad, and there it is. There's an iPad. Let's close our left panel there. So all of these are our different devices we can use to visually test out and see how things would look like. Let's go ahead and add another one. How about the iPhone 5.5 inches? Perfect. So we can see something is not right because things are not looking uniformly across all devices. So we need to fix that. In order to fix that, let's close this out. We'll need to start using auto layout tools. Let's select all of these user interface items here. So shift. So click on the default book, shift, and start selecting all of them. So all of these are selected now. And at the bottom here, right, you have these 4 icons. The first one is called stack. So click on stack. Okay, as you can see, the moment you click on stack, this happens here. What's happening is Xcode creates a stack view and then puts all of these items inside of it. That way we can apply rules, constraints to these items. That way they can look great across all devices. And to show you that this is actually working, if you look here closely, right in our attribute inspector, you look and at the bottom it says spacing. So if you go ahead and type a 10 there, say enter, look what happened. It's giving spacing to all of those user interface items we entered. Let's go back to 0 there. So that's how you know that all of them are inside of one view. And the other way you can verify that this is actually happening, if you click to the left here to open that one, and you see we have our view controller scene. Before we just had a view. Now inside of this view here, hierarchy, we now have the stack view, which is what we just created. And inside of that, we have all of this text field and the set default button. So now all of them are inside of the stack view, which is inside of our view. Now that we have our stack view there, go at the bottom again and click on the third icon. So from left to right, so it says stack, align, and we want pin. So click on pin, and this is what you get. So it says here to add new constraint. We're now going to give rules to our items that we've selected, that we've put inside of our stack view, so that everything aligns correctly. Click on our top constraint here. The moment you click, it turns red to left and right. And at the top, let's go ahead and put a 60, and right, give a 0, left, also give a 0. And say add constraints. Right away, this is what happens. As you can see, it added those constraints and everything is looking. So if we go ahead and run this, and there we go, we have our app running correctly. And to see that everything is actually well aligned, if say command and right arrow, you see everything is still, hit again command and right arrow like that, and back, you can see that the alignment is still the same. So everything is correctly aligned. Remember that we wanted to have this text field here to span all the way to the right, but now it's just this small here. So we need to change that. How do we do that? Click on the text field, and then let's go back to our pin here. So click on the pin, and now we are going to add two constraints. The left one, so click on that, turns red, and the right one. For both, let's go ahead to the right. Let's just give it a 0 and add two constraints. And there we go. You have now it's long is looking better. And run one more time. All right, so there we go. You see, and let's go ahead and say command right, and there it is. It is still long and well positioned. Let's go back. Good, perfect. So we are making progress here. So click on it again, select it, and let's go to our size inspector here. What we need to do, scroll up, intrinsic size. Let's use the placeholder. Change the intrinsic to placeholder as we just did here. We make sure that our text field size will always be the same no matter what. So that's a very important little detail there. Okay, let's run one more time. And there we go. We have our app running. Notice that the moment I click on the text field here, nothing happened. We should at least see our keyboard popping up from the bottom here. That's no problem. What do we need to do here? Go to at the top where it says click on the simulator, of course. At the top, go where it says hardware in our menu. And we need the keyboard here and say toggle software keyboard. Or as you can see, you can go and say command K and that would happen. So we need to toggle the keyboard, and there it is. So now we can go ahead and enter stuff. And notice this done button here is there for us to use. We selected that earlier, so click on done and nothing happens, and we'll take care of that for now. Okay, and of course if we click on set default, nothing's going to happen because the whole idea is to actually set this default text here to default. But we are getting ready to dive into the code where we will be able to hide our keyboard under certain conditions. So let's go ahead to our editor here, assistant editor. So click on that, and there we go. Now we have our, to the left we have our storyboard, and then to the right we have our code. Now I noticed something very strange. This is too small. Let's go ahead and change our code to be a little bit bigger again so you can see. You don't have to do this, of course. This is just for me as I present this. I'm going to go to my preferences. So now we are going to connect our user interface with our code here. Start with our default book label. So we'll go ahead and say control and drag it in here, right? So we're going to call this book name label, connect, and there we go. We have now our book name label variable we can use in our code. So control again, we're going to call this name text field. There it is. And then for our button here, we're going to go ahead and say the same, but we're going to put at the bottom here. And this is going to be an action. Let's change this to UI button. Set default text. Okay, so UI button and connect. And there it is. Other thing I would like to show you, we go ahead and learn this special comment here. It's called mark and colon. Now this mark is just a special type of comment that will help us organize our code for ourselves and for other people going to be reading it. Comment and then say mark and then colon, and then here we're going to call this properties. So this will organize our code. We know, because now we know these two are our properties. And at the bottom here, because we have our actions, we have our buttons, right? So we're going to go ahead and say the same, say mark, and we're going to say actions. And let's be consistent here, properties and actions. It's not a requirement, but it's always a good idea to start doing this. That way we know where things are and so forth. Let's set, when they click this set default book, we want to change our label here, our book name label, to say default book. How do we do that? Well, we have our handle here. So where's our book name label? We say book name label dot text is equal to default book. Save this. Let's give it a run. All right, so there we go. And let's test it out. Say default book, and you notice nothing is changing. The reason being is because we already said it's default book. So let's change it to something else. That way we can actually see things are working. Default book test for now at least. Let's run again. Okay, so it's default book. Let's go ahead and default book test. So now we know this is indeed working. Now the idea here is to, when they enter something and hit enter or done, we want to be able to get rid of our keyboard. That's how applications work. So we need to figure out a way to capture this event and then remove our keyboard here. To do that, we need to talk a little bit about delegate. So delegate is an object that acts in coordination with another object. The delegating object, in this case, the text field, because that's what we're going to be talking about, that's what we're going to be working on, keeps a reference to the other object, the delegate in this case, and at the appropriate time, the delegating object sends a message to the delegate. So the message tells the delegate about an event delegating object is about to handle or has just handled. So the delegate may then respond by, for example, updating the appearance of a state of itself or of other objects in the app. Or you could just return a value that affects how an impending event is handled. So a text field's delegate communicates with this text field while its text is being edited. Now we need to get our view controller here to adopt the user text field delegate. So to do that, after you say UI view controller, and remember this convention here. So what are we saying here, going back to what a class does, what's happening here, we have view controller. This colon here means inherits, right, from UI view controller. So this UI view controller here is the parent class of our view controller. So it's getting all of the functionalities of our view controller. So now to use the delegate, the UI text field delegates, which will allow us to have all of the functions that we need to do whatever we need in our application here, we need to add our UI text field delegate protocol. And to do that, we just go and say comma here and say UI text field delegate. There it is. And this here, what it says now, it says that we can now implement certain behaviors from our UI text field delegate. Is adopting UI text field delegate, which means we can then implement a lot of functions that come with our UI text field delegate. Now to seal the deal, what do we need to do inside of our view div load? We're going to go ahead and say name text field, which is one of our properties, which is this text field here to the left, dot delegate is equal to self. So let's give a little comment here so we understand what's going on. Now that we have our UI text field delegate and we've added this piece of code which essentially says our self, and remember again, the self here refers to view controller class, right? This scope that we have here, which is the view controller class. So now we have all of that. We don't have to, but we can now use all of the methods or functionalities that UI text field delegate comes with. When users tap text fields, a lot of things happen in the background. There's a lot of events we can fetch so we can appropriately do things with them. One of the functions we're going to be using from our text field delegate is the text field should return method. So right above here, let's go ahead and create another mark here and I'm gonna call this UI text field delegate. So now we're gonna go ahead and say func and say text field, and right away the code completion at its best here, it's working. It gives us a lot of methods we can use. All of this is happening because we are adhering to this protocol here, user text field delegate, with our view controller. Okay, so what we need is the text field should return. There it is, and just hit enter, and as you can see, it returns a boolean. This method is called when they hit done or return key once the user have entered information inside of a text field. So what we need to do, of course, remember this has to return something. But the first thing we need to do before it returns anything, we need to dismiss or to hide or to get rid of our keyboard. Say name text field dot resign first responder. What we're saying here, we are going to then get rid of our keyboard and return true, which means that this should respond to users input, and then get rid of our keyboard. Okay, so let's go ahead and test this out. So save and run. Okay, there it is. Let's go ahead and say click on that, and there it is, our keyboard. Let's type just some gibberish and hit enter, and there we go. We were able to get rid of our keyboard. And click again, there it is. Go done, and it's working. The next method we're going to implement is going to be func text field deed and editing. This allows us to actually retrieve what people are entering in our text field and do whatever we want. So in this case, we want to populate, we want to take whatever users are entering the text and then assign it to our label here, right, where it says default book. We say book name label dot text is equal to text field, right? Which text field? Because we're passing in our UI text field here, which is our text field here, and say dot text. So whatever users entered, it will be assigned to our book name label. Okay, so let's save this and run. Hello there. Say enter, and there it is. Hello there. And we can go ahead and set default book, and we can go ahead back here and say the giver. Get okay, and there it is, the giver. Perfect. So we are making progress here. This is really good. There's a lot of good information here we're learning, and as you can see, we are starting to get into a little bit more complex, the nitty-gritty part of iOS 9 development. All right, so let's keep going. Looking back to what we have here, we're running this application. We notice we have our default book, we have our text field, and this button here. Let's give it a little bit of space here because I think everything is really close to together. So let's go ahead back to our view here, and let's open. So we go to our attribute inspector here, attributes inspector, and look at under stack view, we have spacing. So let's give it a 10. That way we get a little bit of more spacing there. As you can see, we have changed that, and now it looks much better. Okay, let's give it a run. Okay, there it is, and it's looking much better. We've got a little bit of space here. That's good. The next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and actually add, let's get rid of this right. In fact, let's keep that. Let's get rid of our code here. So we're gonna add an image view below our set default book button here, because we wanna be able to allow users to add image of the book they're reading. Our object library, I'm gonna say image view. So image, there it is, and drag and drop inside there. There we go. You see, it's inside of our stack view, which is important, and it's right there below. Let's go and to our size inspector. So click on size inspector. To the right here, still having our image view selected. Look under intrinsic size. We're going to change that to placeholder again, and we're going to get this option here. So we're going to change this width and height to 320 by 320. Okay, enter, and there it is. You can see now all looking great. So, and while we're here, we still have our image view selected. Let's go here to our pin. So the third icon from left to right. So click on pin, and now we're going to go ahead and check the aspect ratio constraint here. This will allow this image view to always grow or shrink accordingly depending on the device we are running. So just go ahead and say add constraint, and there we go. You should see this 1-to-1 ratio showing there. This is very important because now we know for sure that anytime they run this application on any device, this is always going to keep this ratio. So let's go ahead and run one more time so we can see what's happening here. And there we go. Of course, the image view won't show anything because we don't have actually an image. And the reason why it shows here in our storyboard is because we need a reference of an image in order for us to know what's going on. But when we run, as you can see here, it just doesn't show anything. It's still there. Now to fix that, let's go ahead and put an image here so that we can actually see something when we run it. Open our left panel here. Let's go to Assets. And I already have a placeholder image here of a book called The Giver. So I'm going to put it over there. Let's cancel that just to make sure I'm putting it in the right place. Let's go ahead. And there we go. So we have our The Giver image there. So let's go back to our main storyboard. And let's open the right one here. Click on The Giver. And let's go to our inspector here. And for image, let's go ahead and fetch that. There's The Giver. So looking good. Let's go ahead and change the mode and say aspect fit. There we go. That's much better. Run this. And there you have, we have our photo, The Giver. While we're here, there's another image I need to get. It's going to be a placeholder because the idea here is that this is not going to be here. So this book, The Giver, is not going to be here. We're going to have a placeholder image here that will allow users to click, and then we'll open the photo library so that they can go and select a picture that they want to add with the book they're reading. So for that, I do have another image that I fetched online, the default photo. For right there, there it is. We got the default photo. Let's move that to about there. That's good. So let's go back to our main storyboard and let's change this image view here to have the default photo. There it is. So now it says no photo selected. So this will allow users to know that they've got to tap here and go and get a photo of the book. Okay, so let's go ahead and give it a run. So there you have it. Now you have this placeholder photo here. So the app started looking very nice, very decent, I should say. This is good. So the idea again is that they're going to be able to click on this no photo selected, and then we will be able to open the photo library, which will then allow users to select the photo from their library and it will be placed here. Now, in order for that to happen, we'll need to do a few things. We'll have to attach an event, a click event per se, in our image here. Now, the reason why we have to separately attach to this image view in order for us to get that click event when they tap on the screen is because image view is not a control like a button. So in this case, we will have to figure out a way to add an event to it, just like a button, using some sort of a gesture recognizer. That way we can then fetch that event and do things with that. Okay, in that case, we'll have to open the library, the photo library, and allow users to get the image they need to connect with this book they are reading. But before that, what we need to do, we need to then connect this image view to our code, just like we did with our labels. You're probably very familiar with the process right now, so go ahead and do that. So I'll go ahead and do it myself here. So the first thing we need to do, we're going to go ahead and have this assistant editor clicked. So that way we have both our code here to the right and our views to the left. So let's close that left one there. So in order for us to attach the gesture recognizer to our view, to our image view, we have to go ahead and fetch the gesture recognizer. So type here gesture recognizer. There it is. Tap gesture recognizer. This is what we need. So we're going to drag and drop into our image view. And right away, you notice at the top here, something was added. It says here, tap gesture recognizer. This indicates that our gesture recognizer is now connected to our view, coincidentally to our image view. So now we're ready to use it. We can then connect this tap gesture recognizer to our code, which brings us back to clicking on our assistant editor. That way we have both code and our views here. Before we proceed, we need to get our image view as our properties here. So we need to click on image view, say control, we're going to get that image view. So this is going to be an outlet. So we're going to call this photo image view. Now, since we have attached the gesture, tap gesture recognizer to our photo image view here, right? Which you can see from the top here, it says tap gesture recognizer. We now had to create an action that will handle the tap functionality. So we go back down here. So this is where we're putting all of our actions. And right above our set default text, let's give it a little space here. Control on our tap gesture recognizer at the top here. And put right there. And this is going to be an action because we're going to be creating an action when users tap. And it's going to be UI tap gesture recognizer. Select image from photo library. A rather long name, but it's very clean and easy to recognize what it does. So let's say connect. And there you go. We have now our select image from photo library. It has a sender of type UI tap gesture recognizer. So here inside, we can do anything we need to respond to this event that we have here when users tap on this image view. All right, so now that we have that, let's go ahead and add a few things in our class view controller here because we need to add two more delegates. So the first delegate we're going to add right after UI text field delegate, say comma. We're going to say UI image picker controller delegate, and you can see there it is. Just say enter. And the next one, we're going to call UI nav navigation controller delegate and say enter. So now we have two more delegates, which means we can implement functionalities that come with the UI image picker, okay, which is the functionality that iOS devices have of opening up the library for the users to either be able to take pictures or select a picture from the library. So let's go ahead and test things out to see if our select image from photo is firing the event. Let's print something to see, say here, hello, save. Let's run one more time. Okay, let's tap and nothing is working. So if you run into this issue, I ran into this issue earlier and it took me a little while to see what was going on. If you run into this issue, simply go ahead inside of your view.load, which is the method or the function that runs first before anything, photo image view dot user interaction enabled, right? Set it to true. If you are having issues where you've set up everything like I've shown you here and you're still not getting that event, then do this inside of your view.load function, photo image view that user interaction enabled. So we are saying true. So we are enabling the user interaction with our image view. Let's go ahead and run again. This time we should get good results. Okay, let's try it again. It says hello there because that's exactly what we wanted to do. Our interaction, our event is being propagated accordingly, which is wonderful. Now what we need to do is to, inside of a select image from photo library, we need to put the logic that will allow us to open the photo library because that's the whole idea of having that. Well, before we do that, let's go ahead and say name text field that resign first responder because we want to make sure when users are here interacting with the app and if the keyboard is still active, we want to make sure that we deactivate the keyboard. Next, we are going to create a UI image picker controller, right? Which is a view controller that lets users pick media from the photo library. So we're going to say let image picker controller is going to be equal to UI image picker controller. There it is. Okay, so now we have a handle here. So our image picker controller, we can use that as we see fit. So we want to be able for now to only allow photos to be picked, not taken. I want to allow photos to be picked, not taken. And for that, what are we going to do? We're going to use our image picker controller that we just instantiated. Just say image picker controller. That source type, let's go say is equal, say dot photo library. So we're saying we only want to access the photo library. We're not interested in taking pictures for now. So now we're going to notify the view controller that the user picks an image. So how do we do that? We should image view controller, image picker controller dot delegate. Again, you remember seeing that is equal to self. So we're attaching things so that now we are communicating back and forth. Say, okay, so the user now has indeed picked an image. Then we're going to say present view controller. And we need to pass in a few arguments here. The first one is the actual controller that we're talking about. In this case, is going to be our image picker controller. So say image picker controller. The next, it's animated. We're just going to say true. Tab and say true. Okay. And completion. So here we could actually create a method, have the logic that we want to do once this task is complete. For now, we're just going to go ahead and pass nil. So we're just saying, no, we don't want any method to run on completion. Okay, so this error here is because I made a few mistakes. It's controller. I don't need, there we go, no T's. Good. All right, so we have that. So let's save this. Let's give it a run. Okay, so let's go ahead and say select, and there we go. If it's first time, this is what's going to happen. It's going to say book tracker would like to access your photos, when we have to say okay. And right away, you can see now we can access the photo library. Okay, so you can click on one. We need to move on. Next thing we need to do is actually to be able to, when they click, so they click here and they select a photo, we want to populate the photo selected in our image view, because that's the whole idea of having this image view. So after an image picker controller is presented, its behavior is right away handed off to its delegate. We now have to use the functionalities that come with our delegates that we have added here. So the UI picker controller delegate and UI navigation controller delegates. Those will have all the functions that we need, right? All the pre-baked per se functions that we need to handle what has been handed off to us from our delegates. So right here above the mark actions, we are going to create a new function, implementing a new function, say func image picker controller. As you can see, we are now implementing one of our delegates methods, right? Image picker controller did cancel. And by the way, you can see the naming convention that iOS 9 or Swift 2 has, right? Image picker controller did cancel. So you can quite infer from this naming here that this code or this method here will run when the user cancel the picker. The next one we need to implement is going to be func image picker controller. So the second one there. So this one here gives us, of course, image picker controller, and it also gives us a lot of information about the image that we are picking, we are getting to then put in our image view. Let selected image be equal to info. It's going to be a string with object with all this information about the image that we're receiving. Since it's an array, we're going to get the UI image picker controller original image. So we're getting the representation of the original image that we are getting from picking from our library. And of course, we need to go ahead and say as an exclamation. We are casting as a UI image. Going back to understand what's really going on here, again, we are creating a select image variable, and we're setting it to be the image that we are getting from our array here. It's actually a dictionary with a lot of different kind of images of the same image but different representation. And we're saying we want to go and get the original image, okay? And in order for this to work, we need to convert it, whatever we're getting here. We want to convert that or cast it to an UI image, which we know this is the type we need to convert to UI image in order for us to be able to then take that image, in this case, to select the image and put in our image view. All right. It may sound a little complicated, but it really isn't complicated. Okay. So now we are ready to say photo image view dot image is equal to selected image. Now, to show you something very cool there, let me get rid of this. See what's going to happen. Notice we have a problem. Let's click on this here. Cannot assign a value of type any object to a value of type UI image. This is why, again, we need to cast, we need to convert this image that we're getting. So say as, exclamation point, UI image. All right, I hope you were able to see the difference there. Okay, so let's run this. Okay, let's click on this. All right, it's opening right. Let's find a picture. And nothing is happening. Well, it turns out actually there's a lot of things are happening here. First of all, we are actually able to get the photo and put in our image view. But the problem is, if you remember correctly, this is indeed another view. So we've asked to say, okay, when they click on the image picker controller, we want to obviously go and open up the photo library where they can select a picture. But one thing we forgot to do, or I intentionally left this out for now because I wanted to make a point, is that we forgot that we need to dismiss. We need to get rid of this view, of this screen here, and go back to our view controller, which is the main view controller where we have the image view, which is being populated with this new image. That means we have to go back to our image picker controller here after we have selected the image and we inserted the image inside of our photo view. Here we need to go and dismiss. So dismiss the picker. How do we do that? It says dismiss view controller animated. So the first thing we need to pass in is whether we want to flag it or not. So just say true. And for the completion, we don't need any methods, just say nil. So now if you save and run again, look what's going to happen. All right, let's start again. Let's something and you look. All right, it dismissed and we have an image. Go back again. Let's find something else. And there we go. Well, now we know that's working. If we go back to our image controller did cancel, you'd imagine we probably would have to use the same logic as this logic. So we're going to go ahead and copy this and put inside of our image picker controller did cancel, because this will be called when we hit the cancel button. So we go back here, go to our image, you see this cancel here, click cancel. So when we click cancel, it should get rid of it, but we have to run again because it didn't pick up the changes for that to work. Okay, let's try again. Image. Okay, that worked. Okay, let's go back. Okay, let me cancel, and there we go. Right, so let's find something else, or maybe this time, and next time find something else, and let's cancel, and you see it just got back to what we had before. I realize we've done a lot in this lecture. We've learned a ton of things, and you are probably at this point very happy, excited, or a little bit confused, but that's fine. So in this course, we started out very basics. We built basics applications and we moved forward. Now we're adding more and more things for you to learn. And this is all intentional. I want you to start concentrating on different ways, different levels of building applications. So this is one of these things I decided that we're going to build this application from scratch. This is not the end, of course. There's still more to come. But we are going to keep building this application, learning new things, and move forward that way. Okay, so in the next video, we'll continue working this application. And meanwhile, go back and try to recreate the same app that we're building here. Do it all over yourself. Do it a few times, even if that will help you. Because that's very important that you keep practicing constantly. All right, so I'll let you be. Go practice, work on this, and I'll see you in the next video.